Hola, buenos días. Nico.
I was also thinking about getting a sticker on my G-top.
So today, Nico, why are you wearing this old ass cap that you haven't worn in like a year? Because I need a haircut and I missed my hair from last week. So my hair is like overgrown and shit. And I don't have an image uphold. Y'all know I come out here looking busted as fuck. I don't care. But today, we're gonna be talking about desirability politics and how it has affected my growth. Because when I did last week's video, I had people that use sex positivity as a way to indulge in unsafe practices, which goes against the actual base definition of the sex positivity movement and what they were founded on, coming at my neck left and right. And while they were just dragging me, they were never addressing anything that I actually said, because though I added my own comedic spin, it eventually boiled down to get tested and screen your partners. I never even told people they had to use condoms. So at that point, if you're fighting against getting tested and screening your partners, that is not sex positivity. There's no way you can spin that. There's no narrative you can tell, because at the end of the day, that's not sex positivity. But what they were saying, because they were never combating what I actually said, because that's what it originally boiled down to. What they were saying was that people were only agreeing with me because I'm socially desirable. They were saying that I'm steeped in desirability and a bigot. The social desirability part is we're gonna be talking about, but the bigot comment made me laugh because I'm like, me? Especially because people like to misconstrue what you say on the internet. Even when you go into like 13-minute detail long conversations, they don't actually listen to what you say. They kind of just like run with it. Especially because somebody said I was homophobic because I stated the medical textbook knowledge that the anus was not originally purposed for like penetrative sex. But they did not acknowledge that in that same sentence, I also said I give and receive anal penetrative sex. So it's like, obviously I'm not homophobic if I'm participating in it and telling you that. I'm just stating a fact. You expel fecal matter. You don't naturally just suck shit up in your asshole. But yeah, addressing those original comments is fine, but I wanted to talk about the actual social desirability, because people usually say that when they have nothing to actually say, like to combat what I've said. So they just say, oh, people are only agreeing with you because you're socially desirable. And you know what? I think I run on, you're logical. I'm a very logical person, and if you have common sense and you think logically, you're gonna see my point of view, because I never take like a very polarizing stance on most subjects. Some subjects I do just because I don't agree with it personally, but 95% of the time I address things in a third perspective because I'm just using logic, not applying my own personal feelings. But desirability does play a factor in my career, and I'm not gonna say that it doesn't, because I'm not gonna be like intellectually obtuse with you. I originally started as an Instagram model, and I was grinding, and then I just blew up on Twitter as soon as I started, because apparently big old titties are rare on Twitter, at least on, cisgendered men. So it's like, my titties and my nipples were very popular on Twitter. They were very popular on Instagram, and that did allow me to get a jump on my audience on YouTube. So when it comes to desirability, Instagram and one of my Twitters, because I actively split my personality into 4 different social medias because I am a multifaceted person. But when people see that a sexual image is a person, they see that you actually have personality, that's when they begin to lose the ability to project their fantasies onto you. So at that point, your numbers drop, because they're like, oh, I don't actually like you as a person, oh, I disagree with you on this, or oh, I don't like the way you talk. So when I actually split up my personality, my Instagram grew, my Twitter like quadrupled. I get like crazy numbers now because I don't actually speak on that platform. And I have a personality dedicated Twitter where I'm just myself and use it as social media and communicate with you guys. And that grew naturally. I actively do not post body. I do not post my face on there. I do not make it circle around my physical appearance, because at that point you're no longer listening to me. So did my original career benefit from social desirability on social media? Yes, I'm not going to say that it did not. But that can also be a hindrance, as we spoke about, putting people into that physical box. As in, when I first started YouTube, because I wanted to show people that I'm not just a pair of perfect titties, you know? I'm an actual person. I would come onto YouTube, the most you're gonna see is my shoulder. The most you're gonna see is me in a shirt, because I'm actively here to have dialogue with you. I do not want you to simply focus on the fact that I am naked. That's why I'm not doing like a Davey Wavy where he would just come on with his chest out, because that's what most people are going to focus on, because that's what you're making the focal point of the video. So when I originally started YouTube, people were saying, if it's not OnlyFans, we don't want it. Are you gonna be shirtless? You need to bounce around. YouTube guidelines will allow you to bounce around shirtless because you're a man. And they were really trying to convince me that I had to insert my body into this platform to make myself viewable. Because at that point, they saw me as strictly a sexual object, and they were not going to listen to what I actually had to say. So that's why when I come on here, I do my best to not be hypersexual. I come on here looking busted. Back in my early YouTube days, I would be combing my hair out, styling my hair, putting masks on my face. Like, I don't care about my physical appearance that much. Like, people misconstrue that. Just because I am popular on like Instagram, and I do have a Twitter that tends to go viral, I don't actually like being sexualized. I actually hate being objectified. And the reason that I continue with the modeling aspect of that is because it does get numbers, and it does get endorsements. It gets paid advertisements. Like, that's the thing. The only time I've ever shown my body on YouTube was when I was discussing my body dysmorphia, which involved me having to show my body and the pieces of my body that the people pick apart online. And when I had 2 paid ads. I mean, the first ad, I think I did a really good job. The second ad, it wasn't that great, just because I was not in the right headspace. I was actively taking a break from social media, but I was getting paid to do that ad. So I had to come and do that ad, because it is a business at the end of the day. Like, people don't understand. That's why now that I'm in a relationship and my YouTube is sustained for the most part, I don't post that much on my actual physical Instagram and my Twitter. Like, I post maybe once a month, twice a month if I'm really feeling it. But it's like, I have no active purpose to be objectified at this point, seeing as how my digital career has successfully been separated. So when people tell me that others only listen to me because I'm socially desirable, it ticks me off, because first, I am intellectual. I may not have finished college. I did half college. College just wasn't for me. I study up on what I talk about. I do my research. I gather information. I gather screenshots. I hold an intellectual conversation where I'm never objectifyingly shaming you. I'm never taking a hard stance against somebody and shaming them, unless it's racism. If it's racism, you're gonna get the smoke, because that one I can say what I want. But if it's something that's like on the ends, I usually ask for your opinion so we can open a dialogue on that. So me sitting here fully clothed and or just my shoulders showing does not mean that I'm steeped in desirability. Because when I did those ads, I instantly regretted it, because people began to comment things like, oh my God, I didn't even listen to what you were saying. You were just so beautiful. I just kept having to rewind it. And oh my God, your chest is that. And obviously I'm not doing the sarcastic and eye rolling because I don't appreciate the compliments, because it is genuine love and I appreciate that and I appreciate you. But it's the fact that you're telling me that you're not actively listening to me because you're just focusing on how I look. And that's why I do not bring my body onto this platform, because if you're actively telling me I didn't hear a word you said, I'm just looking at you because I find you attractive, that is a double-edged sword. That's not usually a really good compliment to me. That's usually a slap in the face, because it's saying that you're not able to listen to what I'm saying, process it, and continue a dialogue because you're too busy sexualizing me. So that's one of the reasons why I don't post my body on YouTube, because I want you to actually engage. Because if you're sitting here and you're only agreeing with me and being a sycophant because you find me attractive and in hopes that I will reciprocate some kind of sexual or romantic feeling, that is not actually continuing a dialogue. That is not actually holding a conversation. That's me talking to a a parrot, essentially, because you're just gonna regurgitate what I said. So that's why when people comment differing opinions, I don't get upset. I actually encourage it. If you do not agree with me on a topic that I had in a video, I ask you to drop it down. I ask you so we can hold these dialogues and people can bounce conversation off of each other. If you get disrespectful, that's when I come for you. Because if I'm having a conversation with you, you're not gonna get flipping at the mouth with me. You're not going to. And I feel like that's the thing. People see me online and they see that I try to actively be nice because I'm actually a raging bitch. And they think that shit is sweet. And shit is not sweet. So if you ever try to come at me sideways when I'm having a dialogue with you that's not disrespectful, I'm going to tell you about yourself. And it's not going to be nice. But yeah. So essentially, do I benefit from social desirability? Yes, I'm not going to lie. When it comes to jobs, I've never struggled to get a job. When it comes to dating, I've never struggled to find a man. To find a quality man, I struggled until I met my man right now. Quality men, that's different because when you're a sex object, people usually try to treat you as a sex object. And as y'all can tell, aside from posting pictures, I do not have that mind frame. I do not be like, yeah, you come get it. Yeah, you could. No, I'm not, I don't entertain that. So if you're not talking to me respectfully, I'm going to be a bitch. So finding a quality man was a struggle, but I found one and he's amazing. So essentially dating was easier. Social media engagement via pictures. Yes, it was easier to get engagement with pictures because of social desirability. Actual intellectual engagement. No, because when it was my original page, my personality posts, they would get numbers to a degree, but I found that once I made my secondary page that's just personality centered, I would get a lot more engagement on my actual dialogue. Anime, music, random shit that comes out of my mouth. People would actually engage more because now that they do not see my physical appearance, they can hone in on the fact that I am a person. I'm a three-dimensional person and I have a personality. And that's what I want people to focus on. So yes, social desirability has helped me to a degree, but it's also made it to the point that people think that I'm not able to hold intellectual conversations because they see me as socially desirable. They think that I'm just a body. And I've actively made a point to tell you people that I am smart. Like in high school, you know, when bitches were like on track team or going to parties and shit, I was in the library reading novels. Like I was a nerd. I was in theater. I was in debate. I was in poetry. I was in prose. I was acting. Like I am not one of those people that's just like great tits, cute face, no thought. That's not me. Like me working out only came around college time when I was tired of being made fun of and being devalued because of how I looked. And also how I saw myself in the mirror, because I would regurgitate the things that people had taunted me about all my life to myself, and it would just lower my self-esteem. So I started working out and changing my physical appearance for myself. So to hear people say, now that I've reached a level of fitness and quote unquote social desirability, that I cannot form a complete thought is asinine. It enrages me because I'm like, all my life, I've had to fight, and y'all keep trying me and stretching the goalpost. But yeah, so in short, social desirability has benefited me to a degree when it comes to advertising, when it comes to endorsements and sponsorships on Instagram and Twitter and modeling contracts. Social desirability has not benefited me whatsoever when it comes to actual dialogue, when it comes to my intellectual side being taken seriously. So I really think that it's a double-edged sword that people do not understand. Like Cardi B said, and I know Cardi B is very polarized and she has her own issues, you know, but like Cardi B said, if I was really as dumb as people think, I would not have all that I have. Like I have multiple social gathering hubs via my Twitter, via my Discord, via my Patreon, via my YouTube, and I run it all for the most part for myself. Yes, I have some moderators on Discord in case anybody gets flipping at the mouth, but I run this all by myself. I also have 2 day jobs. I quit one. I also am studying to go into my actual career field. Like I am an intellectual. Yes, I can be sexy bimbo or himbo online if I need to, if I want to get engagement or if I want to do some more modeling, but that's not necessarily who I am as a person. That's like a small facet of my being. And I have to explain that every time when people think, oh, I thought you were gonna be rude. Oh, I thought you were gonna be dumb. Oh, I thought you, like, I don't know. Point is, that's the role it has played in my social media career. But yeah, definitely drop your opinions down below. Do you think that social desirability doesn't have a downfall? Because I mean, I've seen it happen time and time again online, not even myself, where people, they'll go viral with their pictures, they'll go viral with their nudes, with their twerking videos, but when they actually try to have dialogue, it's crickets. When they try to move into music, it's crickets. When they try to move into acting, it's crickets. It's because people put them in that singular box. So I've seen it. Let me know if you've seen it, or do you think I've just blown it out of proportion? Do you think that social desirability has no downfall? Because I will admit that the immediate gratification and the immediate benefits of social desirability far outweigh the microaggressions along with the dismissing of your intellectual skills, but it still stings. Like, I feel like people just don't acknowledge both sides of most situations. And I do admit that you will receive more benefits for the most part, but you will be reduced to a sex object. You will not be taken seriously. Your intellect will constantly be questioned, even when you bring receipts, when you bring screenshots, when you, in detail, tell them what you mean and you bring factual evidence. It still will just be placed as people are only listening to you because they want to fuck you. But yeah, that's my viewpoint. Tell me if you view it differently. As always, I'm always open for dialogue. If you get disrespectful, you already know what it's gonna be. But yeah, thank you for joining this dialogue. Boop. And once again, a quick thank you to all my patrons on Patreon, and a quick shout out to my third eye tier patrons. Your support means everything to me and helps me do this a lot more smoothly. I will also be listing this week's live stream topic in case anybody wants to join in on the fun. I will see you guys there.